According to the State of the World's Trees report, nearly 60,000 tree species have been documented globally. Alarmingly, the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN's) Red List estimates that about 30% of these trees are now threatened with extinction, with a startling 142 trees already declared as extinct or extinct in the world. In Ghana, several forest trees are considered threatened due to forest degradation through illegal mining and overexploitation by the timber industry. Currently, 25 species are classified as endangered and 5 being endemic to the country. Dr. Kwame Entry-Oduro, the director of CSIR-Forestry Research Institute of Ghana, CSIR-FORIG, highlights the key impact of forest degradation on tree biodiversity.
The key impact of forest degradation on forest or tree biodiversity is basically losing them. As the resources are degraded, then we are losing the forest resources. And in the case of tree biodiversity, they become endangered. In fact, in recent years, many of our tree resources have become endangered because we are losing them through fire, through illegal logging and timber harvesting, through galamsey, what we popularly call galamsey here.
In the heart of West Africa is found one of the most critically endangered species in Ghana, known as Aubregrinia Taiensis, also known as the Great Tiger Nut Tree, or in the local Akan dialect as Giatadrekese. The species, only found in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, and possibly in Liberia, is being pushed to the brink of extinction. With its habitats confined to the forest of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, Aubregrinia Taiensis faces threats that endanger its very existence. Professor Daniel Ofori, a chief research scientist at CSIR-FORIG, comments on the distribution of Aubregrinia Taiensis.
This species belongs to the family Saputaceae, and it occurs in only 3 West African countries, that is Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana. The species has a conservation concern because regeneration is very low, seed germination in nature is very low. Propagation by vegetative propagation also has faced some challenges. The species is now endangered and then it needs to be conserved. If you don't conserve it, we might lose it.
The uses of these tree species are enormous. Mr. Christian Opoku-Kwarteng, an assistant research scientist at CSIR-FORIG, highlights some of the uses of Aubregrinia Taiensis.
With regards to the uses of Aubregrinia Taiensis, the wood is carved into musical instruments for making toys and game materials. Also, the extract from seeds are used for treating headaches, skin infections such as ringworms, scabies, etc. The seeds are also a delicacy for humans and animals, and with the seed coats, it's used for making anklets worn by traditional dancers. Chemical profiling of its exudates, resins, and gums is also ongoing to identify its pharmaceutical, chemical, industrial, and commercial uses.
Emerged in 2019 when the CSIR-FORIG and partners embarked on a mission supported by the Botanical Garden Conservation International, BGCI, and funded by the Franklinia Fondation. Their goal was to rescue this rare species from the edge of oblivion. Dr. James Amponsah, the project leader at CSIR-FORIG, comments on the project objectives.
The project began in 2019. The objective was to ensure that we undertake several conservation actions to secure the future of this important tree. We began with extensive survey across forest reserves in the high forest zones, and our surveys were guided with habitat suitability maps. These maps indicated areas where the species are likely to be found or where the species could survive and thrive better. And so the survey team relied heavily on occurrence data, the habitat suitability, and even speaking to local people who were more knowledgeable in tree species, such as tree spotters and other logging companies within the forest reserves.
Yvette Harvey-Brown, a conservation officer at BGCI, comments on the partnership between CSIR-FORIG and BGCI to save the target species.
BGCI is an NGO based in the UK who partners with organisations around the world to prevent the extinction of plant species for the well-being of people and the planet. We have had the pleasure of working with CSIR-FORIG since 2019. We needed an in-country partner to lead conservation work for the threatened tree species of Ghana, and we were very fortunate to partner with CSIR-FORIG to undertake this role to save the critically endangered tree species Aubregrinia Taiensis.
When the project began, knowledge about Aubregrinia Taiensis was scarce. Little was known about its distribution, population status, and conservation needs. But the project has made significant strides over the past 4 years, gathering crucial baseline data vital for the species' long-term survival. Key successes emerged from the project, including the discovery of new individuals of Aubregrinia Taiensis, each tagged for monitoring and protection.
Our search has been very successful. So far, we have identified 2 key populations of Aubregrinia Taiensis in Ghana. There is one in the Robon Forest, and there's a small population also in the Southern Scarp Forest Reserve, which is an adjacent forest reserve to the Robon Forest. There is one in the Botanical Forest Reserve. Within that population, we have now identified 27 individuals. And it is good to know that some of these individuals are reproductively matured. It means they are flowering, fruiting, and dispersing seeds. And so scientists have been studying the species, monitoring phenology to ensure that we can collect materials for propagation.
The project faced several challenges, including misidentification of the species.
Beginning the conservation effort, CSIR faced a lot of challenges. 2 major challenges was the misidentification of the species. A. Taiensis is very close to Chrysophyllum ubuaguense. And the 2 major differences that we observed was if you cut transverse section of the fruit, the segments are very similar. But you could see that Aubregrinia Taiensis has 5 or more segments, and then Chrysophyllum has 4 segments. That's one major difference. And then if you look at the stem, A. Taiensis has more buttress than Chrysophyllum. So these are the 2 major differences that we have observed between these 2 species.
Extensive population surveys were conducted across the forest reserves in Ghana based on data from initial habitat suitability modeling. The survey team used several approaches in the field to increase their chances of locating the species.
Yes, feel free. You should be. And some guy said was straight bull, very small one.
We have sighted one Aubregrinia Taiensis tree species.
Please, which direction?
Come northwest, turn right after 5 meters, and it is right on your right hand side.
All right, copied. We will be there shortly.
All right.
Please kindly check leaf specimen if it's
Yeah, the
Aubregrinia.
leaf venation confirms A. Taiensis, and the backslash is also pale yellow with the exudates also cream, just like A. Taiensis. Yeah, most likely it is.
copied. We will be there shortly. All right. So these are fruits we have picked from Taiensis, the suspected tree. All right, that's fine. We will need to confirm ID by looking at the cross section of the fruits, counting the seed lobes. If it's above 5, we are certain that this is definitely Taiensis.
All right.
Okay, so we have the fruits, and here are the seed lobes inside the fruits. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what does it mean? Taiensis. Good. Kudos to the team. We found one.
All right. So
DBH.
diameter is 168 centimeters.
Diameter 168 centimeters.
Yes.
DBH for the confirmed Taiensis species. Please give us the GPS as well, GPS coordinates.
Right. So we have 6 degrees, 21 minutes, 22.475 seconds north, and 0 degrees, 21 minutes, 28.151 seconds west.
All right.
Additionally, research on natural regeneration and phenology is currently ongoing to provide baseline data to guide future conservation actions. Seed storage and germination improvement studies to promote propagation success of Aubregrinia Taiensis have been initiated.
In terms of seed germination experiments, the project has undertaken several seed germination improvement research in the lab. So far, we have confirmed that Taiensis seeds are recalcitrant. It means they cannot withstand drying. They are desiccation sensitive. And as a result, handling and protocols for propagation would vary as compared to other species.
As an indicator of project success, field gene banks for Aubregrinia Taiensis for the first time were established in 2021 by CSIR-FORIG across several locations in Ghana.
The project has also undertaken the establishment of ex situ conservation plots, or what we may refer to as field gene banks. We have established at least 7 different ex situ field gene banks for Taiensis in Ghana. It is to ensure that we will test which areas within the high forest zones can best support Aubregrinia Taiensis performance and growth.
As part of project implementation, other key stakeholders have been engaged to help with the conservation work on Aubregrinia Taiensis and other threatened trees.
We have collaborated quite well with the Forestry Commission in Ghana, especially the district offices where we do our surveys. In October 2022, there was a national stakeholder workshop organized at the Forestry Research Institute in Kumasi. It was funded by the Botanical Garden Conservation International and Franklinia. This workshop brought together experts in the conservation and forest industry, and Aubregrinia Taiensis was really highlighted. And afterwards, a document came out, the Conservation Action Plan for Ghana's Threatened Trees. And this document more or less serves as a roadmap for several conservation actions within the country.
Besides the threatened tree conservation workshop, local communities have also been engaged by the project team to build their capacity in order to identify and protect the tree in situ. As part of awareness campaigns and livelihood improvement interventions, more than 120 community members have been trained in mushroom production, beekeeping and snail farming, offering sustainable alternatives to support both people and nature. Despite the challenges and successes, the fight to save Aubregrinia Taiensis continues. While significant progress has been made, there is still much more to be done to ensure the survival of this imperiled species. The future of this species looks promising.
We look forward that work on Aubregrinia Taiensis will continue with the support of our donors, Botanical Garden Conservation International and Franklinia. We look forward that we will establish more conservation plots, and we are also going to ensure that research on propagation and vegetative propagation will continue to ensure that the future of this important but critically endangered tree species will be secured.
One major thing that we also need to look at is, since there are a few trees that have been left in the forest or in the wild, we need to do molecular DNA analysis.
We very much look forward to continuing this relationship into the future to ensure that Ghana's unique tree diversity is preserved for future generations.
FORIG's role in this future outlook is simple. We'll continue to do research, we'll continue to engage stakeholder partners to be able to carry out this research, and we also want to train the communities to be involved in conservation activities. So as we move into the future, we'll continue to do research, but also do conservation activities that involve local communities as well.
With dedication, collaboration and innovation, hope remains alive for the future of Aubregrinia Taiensis and the other biodiversity it represents.